Have you ever stopped to wonder why cows always seem to live on farms but never roam freely in the wild? Where did they come from? And what happened to their wild ancestors? Today, we'll uncover the intriguing history of cows, their domestication journey, and why they are entirely dependent on humans today. And here's something fun to look forward to. There will be trivia questions at the end to test your cow knowledge. So, grab your thinking caps and let's dive into this marvelous story. Believe it or not, the modern cow wasn't always the gentle, slow-moving grazer you see today. Their ancestors, the aurochs, were a completely different story. Picture this, an animal much taller and stronger than today's cows, with massive, curved horns and an intimidating presence. These creatures roamed across vast territories in Europe, Asia, and North Africa. Aurochs were built for survival in the wild. They were fast, tough, and could handle predators with ease. For ancient humans, hunting an aurochs wasn't just a meal. It was a dangerous challenge. But humans saw more than a challenge. They saw potential. Around 10,000 years ago, humans began to domesticate these mighty beasts in the Fertile Crescent, an area often referred to as the cradle of civilization. Why? Because cattle offered so many advantages. They provided milk, meat, leather, and even labor to pull plows and carry loads. Over centuries, humans selectively bred the aurochs, choosing individuals that were smaller, less aggressive, and easier to handle. This process gradually turned them into the domestic cows we know today. It was a win-win relationship. Humans benefited from their resources, and cows got protection and a steady food supply. But in taming them, humans changed the course of their evolution forever. Sadly, the aurochs didn't survive the test of time. While domesticated cattle flourished under human care, their wild ancestors faced a grim fate. Overhunting by humans significantly reduced their numbers. As human populations expanded, the forests and grasslands that aurochs called home were cleared to make room for farmland. By the 1600s, only a small population of aurochs remained in Europe. The last known aurochs died in 1627 in Poland, marking the end of a species that had once roamed across continents. Today, the only trace of the mighty aurochs lives on in modern cows, their domesticated descendants. So, if cows came from wild aurochs, why don't we see herds of wild cows today? The answer lies in how domestication has fundamentally changed them. Over thousands of years, cows were bred to meet human needs rather than survive in nature. Traits like docility and high milk production make them valuable to farmers, but completely unsuitable for the wild. Unlike their wild ancestors, cows lack the speed and strength to defend themselves from predators. Additionally, the modern environment isn't set up to support wild cows. Large herds would need vast amounts of grass and water. But most ecosystems are already home to other animals that fill this role, like deer and bison. Adding cows into the mix could disrupt local wildlife and resources. Lastly, humans have become so good at managing and caring for livestock that cows rarely get the chance to roam free. Farmers work hard to ensure their cattle stay safe, fed, and sheltered. Without human intervention, cows simply wouldn't thrive in today's world. But let's imagine for a moment, what if cows were released into the wild? would they adapt and reclaim their freedom like some other animals? The short answer is probably not. While a few might survive in areas with plenty of resources and no predators, most wouldn't make it. Escaping cows would face threats from predators like wolves, coyotes, or bears. They'd also struggle to find enough food in harsh environments. Over generations, they might adapt to some degree, but they would never return to being like their ancestors, the aurochs. Humans have altered them too much. However, this is unlikely to happen on a large scale. Cows are so integrated into human life that they're here to stay as domesticated animals. Now, it's time to see how much you've learned from today's episode. We've got 3 fun trivia questions coming up. Ready? Let's start. Question number 1. What wild species are modern cows descended from? The correct answer is B. Aurochs. Modern cows are descended from aurochs, a powerful wild species that roamed Europe, Asia, and North Africa. Aurochs were much larger than today's cows, with long, curved horns and an aggressive nature. Early humans domesticated these animals about 10,000 years ago, selectively breeding them for traits like tameness and milk production. Although aurochs went extinct in the 1600s, their legacy lives on in the modern cattle we see today. Question number 2. Why did the aurochs become extinct? The correct answer is B. Overhunting and habitat loss. Aurochs were hunted extensively for meat and materials, but habitat loss was another major factor. As human populations expanded, forests and grasslands were cleared for farming, leaving aurochs with fewer places to live. The combination of overhunting and shrinking habitats led to their extinction by 1627, making them a symbol of how human activity can impact wildlife. Question number 3. Why wouldn't modern cows survive in the wild? The correct answer is A. They are too dependent on humans. Modern cows rely on humans for food, water, and protection. Unlike their wild ancestors, they've been bred to be slower, less aggressive, and highly dependent on care. These traits make them ill-equipped to handle predators or find enough food in the wild. Simply put, cows have been shaped by thousands of years of domestication, making survival in the wild nearly impossible. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution.